And so for me, when I look at these two pūrākau, oro is sound with an ancestral frequency that stems from our whakapapa, our genealogy. And it is present in the natural world. So in our rain, our earth, it is an ancestral tool for releasing, lifting, and restoring Mauri, or our well-being. So I needed to start there. And what I want to do is now bring us forward to today, and to myself specifically. I've spent the last 25 years working across social services, iwi. I have the fortune to work for Kahungunu ki Wairarapa, the NGO sector, tertiary education at the university, PTE, wānanga, and in the community development spaces. And through my 25 years, I actually burnt out. Mauri moi. I experienced Mauri moi. And what was interesting is that across all of these industries that I worked across, I saw these reoccurring patterns of people burning out under intense stress. And sometimes it was because you're the person that people come to. Oh, Sophronia, oh, Wayne, oh, Claire, they can do this. But they know how to do this, so we're going to delegate this to them. Sometimes in the mahi that we do, we want so much for our whānau. And so we're saying, yes, 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 I'll do that. Yes, I'll do the call out late at night. Yes, I'll work in the weekend. Yes, the whānau needs me. I'll go there at night. And because we know, so I'm a social worker in Kahungunu ki Wairarapa, and social services and our whānau and some of the complexities that they deal with, it doesn't happen within 9 to 5. It doesn't happen just in Monday to Friday. It can happen at any time. But sometimes when we're constantly giving, and not only at work, but at home and in our communities, and that was my reality, it impacts our Mauri. And when I was burnt out and I was unwell, and I started to actually I started to think to myself, what is within mātauranga Māori? What did our tipuna know about restoring Mauri? And through that investigation and that exploration, I came up with Tūī Method. So Tūī Method. Tūī Method is a mātauranga Māori wellbeing framework. And the focus is about restoring Mauri, or vitality, across individuals, teams, and organisations. And Claire shared with me those of you that are the organisations that many of you are from. And looking at them, I know that there will be high stress levels, maybe high case levels, or you're carrying high cases, high number of cases. And so I created Tūī Method for us. And I'm not going to go to those pictures because, yeah, not today. But this brings me to this kōrero about Mauri. So, well, what's this thing called Mauri? And how is it impacted by the decisions that I make, or the things that I do? So this is a quote by Matua Taina Pōhatu, who I had the privilege to work with at Te Wānanga o Aotearoa. And he says that Mauri is the essential life force, or vital energy, that exists in all things. And it binds the physical body to the spiritual essence. And in the context of well-being, Mauri is a dynamic spectrum that changes based on your health, emotions, and the relationships that you keep with others. And so there's this last line. What it says to me is that Mauri can be impacted by our relationships. It can be impacted by the decisions that we make, by the boundaries that we don't install. Sometimes it can be impacted by that because then we start to carry a lot more than what we're meant to, and we're out of balance. But what this Kōrero also says to me is that Mauri can also be strengthened. Sorry, I'm just going to the next page and it's not going. Oh, yeah. Okay. And so often we don't notice when we're going into a state of Mauri moi or Mauri depletion. And because we continue to give and we adapt and we keep giving and we keep carrying responsibility and we keep showing up for others. And so, Tūī Method, I developed a Mauri assessment matrix, and it's inspired by the Tūī. So, Tūī Method is my Pākihi, and everything revolves around Tūī and Taiao. But the matrix invites us to reflect on taha hinenaro, which is our mind, what's weighing heavy on your mind, thoughts, thinking, beliefs, mental well-being. Our poi, so the tui, we know that they have these poi, these little poi, white tufts at their throat. And the tui, often when in Te Ao Māori, we often refer to them as their call opens up spaces, opens up awairua. And so for me, the poi was about checking in with our spiritual well-being, but also your voice, your identity, and a sense of expression. And sometimes I find in certain contexts, being a woman, sometimes in male-dominated spaces, and this is just one example, sometimes I feel that my voice is not heard or I can't express myself, but also another example, if I'm carrying a lot, sometimes I'm forgetting my voice. Who am I? What do I believe in? Because I'm so bogged down with everybody else's kōrero. Then manawa is so it's actually our connected to our heart, but our chest, our poho. And this is about our relationships and our connections to people. And then tinana, our pariro, and for the tui, it's their wings, the pariro. This is about our physical body, our energy and health. So we're seeing lots of similarities here with whare tapawha. Look at Matua Mason Dury's whare tapawha. And what I've done here is created a matrix that aligns with the anatomy of the tui. And what I've done with is that I started to use Mauri to kind of assess where am I sitting at in terms of my hinenaro, my poi, manawa, and tinana. And I use Mauri moi, Mauri oho, and Mauri ora, sorry. And I want to say that within each Mauri, there's always potential. So it's a very strength space. But Mauri moi, inactive, dormant, but there's untapped potential, identifying that there's this potential there. We just haven't opened it or activated it. Mauri oho. So when you start to activate, it's like, oh yeah, I notice that I need something, or that I need to start stepping back or not taking on so much. And we're starting to take care of our vitality and it's things are starting to awaken and we're starting to feel better. And then Mauri ora is when we're alive and we're flourishing and we're clear-headed, but we want to be in a space of Mauri ora. And I think that we're often on a spectrum where we can go from one end of the spectrum to the other, sometimes within a very, very short time. But the assessment wasn't about, like saying, oh, something is wrong with us. It was about pausing, allowing ourselves to pause and noticing where our Mauri might be sitting today. So what I want us to do right now, just for the next couple of minutes, I've got these Hinenaro poi manawa tinana. I have these 4 questions. And what I want you to do is that I want you to reflect on these questions. So if we're thinking of the tui, the mind, and Mauri, what thoughts are occupying most of our energy right now? And you might say, I'm actually, doing really, really well right now. I have this process where I may, if I have a lot going on, I'm able to process things really, really easily. But sometimes, it might be, oh, my children are doing this. Oh, the cases that I'm doing this, I have to go to I've got a FGC. I have to go be in court with my whānau. Oh, and then my marae has asked me to do this. And then at work, they've asked me to lead this process. And so our mind might actually be on more of a Mauri moi. Okay. And then our voice. When was the last time you truly felt heard or expressed yourself authentically? These are just up to you. You don't have to share. But this is a kind of assessment to help you gauge where your Mauri is sitting at each of these levels. Manawa, which relationship is currently giving you energy or taking it away? And just this morning, I'm going to share here with us. I was having so I'm the practice leader for social services at Kahungunu Ki Wairarapa, working with one of my social workers, and she said, I've had to pull away from a relationship with a person because they were draining my energy. Kapai? But this is asking you, are there those relationships that are taken away or given to you? And then tinana, what is your body trying to tell you? So I notice for me, when I'm doing lots and lots and lots, I get sick. And it starts in my shoulders. My shoulders start to feel all tense. And then when I'm moving my neck, oh, my neck is sore. And a lot of you, I'm seeing some smiles here. But we know our bodies, and our body is communicating to us, and it can communicate to us when things aren't flowing freely. Okay, so just have a think about these. And kei a koutou, if you want to share, that's up to you, where your Mauri is at. Okay, so I'm going to give you maybe, 30 more seconds, and then we'll ka haere tonu. Okay, so the reason for that was I wanted you to kind of gauge where is your Mauri sitting for yourself, because this today is for you. Okay, so I want this to be a tool that you can use. And because we have a short period of time, what I asked Claire to do is that if I could come in and if I could share some mahitahi or some we're going to do some mahi together, and we're going to focus on R only. So Tūī Method is A, E, U. And R is connected to mahunga. So these are our vowels, A, E, U. Mahunga. So it's about head. And for me, when I started to think about mahunga, it was about releasing through ua. It was about connection to ranginui. What does ranginui teach me? So ranginui teaches us that sharing emotions and grief and crying and tears, that it's actually natural, but it's actually essential for our well-being. Okay. So, as I mentioned, a e u. This is our Tūī method. And what we're going to, and what I've asked you to do is kind of gauge, going back to this here, gauge where is your hinenaro, your poi, your manawa, your tinana sitting on that spectrum of Mauri. And what I want you to do is to kind of think about it that as we go through this next section. So this next section is about us doing things together. And so the Tūī method, as I mentioned, we're only going through R. R today is an activator. So so I'm thinking we are carrying things, might be at different parts of the body, and we use reo or a to activate, to start to shift. And we're going to focus everything in the head, and we're going to look at the way that ha, so breath, but also vibration. So vibration or ihirangaranga, ihirangaranga is a vibration that is found within waiata. So for example, this is ihirangaranga. He tēnā koutou he. So that's a ihirangaranga. It's a vibration. And that vibration is powerful in terms of shifting things that are heavy in the body. And the activator that we're going to use is connected to Papa Tūānuku, which is why we started with that kōrero, Earth Mother. So what does she teach us? She teaches us to vocalize our grief. So the separation, away. So it's that grief. But in that vocalizing of grief, she was releasing heavy energy into the earth and into the taiao. And that was about restoring and healing. So this is our exercise. So I want us all, we're going to learn this. And I also have created an audio for you to be able to use this. So this is a tool for you to be able to use when you need to release. If you're feeling heavy and you need something and you're thinking, I want to connect into Papa Tūānuku. Okay, so oe taukiri e, so that can be like, oh my gosh, or alas, and that's a kind of a modern words, OMG. But alas, oh my goodness, but it's an expression of oh tukua ki runga. So we're releasing above. Hiki nā te Mauri, to lift the Mauri, ki te whai ao, ki te ao marama, from the darkness to the light. Ka pai? And this is how it sounds, and we're going to do it together. Haue tau kiri e, tukua ki runga, hiki nā te Mauri, ki te whaia, ki te ao marama. So we're using this, we're using that kind of vibrato. It's called a vibrato. And you might think, oh, I don't sound like fire. Fire's like, I'm a singer. I'm a kai karanga. I'm a kai haka. So I'm used to this. So trust yourself, because it's not just about the sound and how you're sounding. It's about the pūrākau, the kōrero that surrounds this. It's about why we're doing this. Ka pai? So I want us to kind of do this together. So we'll just do that a few times. Do it twice together, me and you. Anō. So alas. Tukua ki runga. So tukua ki runga. So our voice goes up at runga because it's meaning up. Tukua ki runga. So us to do that together. Tukua ki runga. Anō. tukua ki runga. So we'll do those two together, those two lines. Hau e tau kiri e, tukua ki runga. Okay. Hiki nā te Mauri. So we'll just do that a couple of times. Hiki nā te Mauri. Anō, just us together. Hiki nā te Mauri. Ki te whaia, ki te au marama. So just do that last one together. Ki te whaia, ki te ao marama. So we're going to do this all together. Okay, and I'll give you some tips. So for me as a singer, so I'm always going to breathe in through my nose. Okay, and when we think about the story of Papa Tūānuku when she was being separated, this was a cry. So, and I know that we've all experienced grief here, and I have to, and it comes from the bottom of my feet, through my stomach, right up into my spine and into my head. Okay, so when we're breathing in through our nose, I want us to think of that ha, that breath coming in through the feet, up through your body as we say this. Okay, so I'll give you an example. So, au e tau kiri e, tukua ki runga, hiki nā te Mauri, ki te whaia, ki te ao marama. And honestly, there's no set rangi, so you don't have to do it exactly like me, where your voice goes, because this is about activating your voice. But as you do that and you're breathing in, what you're doing is that you're taking that kōrero through your body and you're shifting old, heavy energy that does not need to be sitting in your body anymore. Okay, so we're going to layer that. So we've learnt that. So if we look at this chart here, on the left-hand side, planting our feet and we're connecting to Papa Tūānuku. So have our feet flat on the ground. So our ha, so we're going to do a ha breath in. So it's a deep ha, deep breath into your puku. And then the oro is the sound of au e tau kiri he. Hapai, that's the oro that we're using today. And we're releasing the breath in your puku with a focus on releasing it in the head. Because as I said, Tūī Method, today we're focusing in the head because we're releasing the old energy. And the ihirangaranga is the vibration. We're pushing the sound up and out of the head, okay? So that's what we're doing. So I just wanted to let us know, but these are the things that we're doing. But why are we doing? We're acknowledging the weight that we carry. And we're connecting our body to Papa Tūānuku in the process. That's why we always start with our feet on the ground. And then as we're going through this process, we're shifting the stress, the blocks that are stored in our body. We're shifting the mental fog, anxiety, and weight sitting in our heads. And so if I was somebody thinking, oh, should I use today? If you have a lot on your mind, this is the activator that I would use, would be the and I would use this. And then we're releasing the exhaustion completely and clear. Okay, so we're going to do this a few times together. Aue taukiri e. With the ha in, so I'll go toru wha and we'll go ha ki roto, and then ha ki waho, and we'll go to aue taukiri e. Ka pai? So plant your feet on the ground, connecting to Papa Tūānuku, releasing. We're connecting to ground, but also to release. Pai? Ha ki roto. Ha ki waho. Au e tau kiri e, tukua ki runga, hiki nā te Mauri, ki te whaia, ki te au marama. Okay, we're going to do that a few times. Okay. Once again, planting our feet in the ground. On toru wha, we'll go hā ki roto. Toru wha, hā ki roto. Hā ki waho. Au e tau kiri he. Tuku a ki runga. Hiki nā te Mauri. Ki te whaia, ki te amarama. Okay. So I know that that is one activator, just one tool that you can use. I'm going to share one more, and this is a lot more. I know that there's a lot in this one because we're learning this kōrero, aue taukiri e, and we're getting used to all of that. But I want to do one more, and it's the vowel a. So there's a reason why I chose a, e, u. And so within the world of rongoā, which is Mauri healing, one of our tōhunga, Papa Hōhi Padalamia, but also Nene Dr. Rose Pere, they talked about the transformative potency of our vowels. And so I use just by itself to release as well. So once again, we're going to use the okay. So together, I want us to use and when we're doing this I want it to be in the head, okay, and we're thinking of that. So you would hear me, it's like a quiver, but it's for me, that quiver is like the pitter-patter of the rain. So the rain is like a heartbeat. So what I'm doing is that I'm drawing, and I'm drawing on taiao, embodying the ua. I'm remembering the rangi nui and papa tuanuku as I'm doing this, and I'm asking them to help me release things. Bye. So let's hā ki roto, and on hā ki waho, we're all going to go ha, and it's not loud. It doesn't have to be loud, but it sits in the head. Kapai. So we, as a singer, we will often call this a head voice. Kapai. So hā ki roto, hā ki waho, and if you're in the office and you're like thinking, oh, shame, all my mates can hear me, do it in your mind. When I've done wānanga with so I do this when I do wānanga with organizations, but also with wahine. And I always say that what is planted in the mind is then manifested through the body. So we can still hear sound in the mind. Kapai? So hā ki roto, hā ki waho. So once again, this goes with a technique, planting our feet flat on the ground, but also keeping our posture tall and connecting to rangi nui. And the breath, it's light, but it's in the chest and the throat, but we're pushing it up into the head. And that's part of shifting that mental fog, that anxiety and that weight sitting into our head, sitting in our heads, so that we can release. Kapai. So I know that it's nearly time to go. And what I shared with Claire, and I think that this is really important for me to share, I'm a social worker and I love anybody that works with our whānau. And so it was really important that I share resources that those who work in social services can use these. So this QR code, if you click on it, it will take you to the aue taukiri e. Use it. You will also get a copy of this PowerPoint so you can refer back to it. it will give you a copy of the A. So the A that we done very, very briefly, connected to Ranginui, there's actually a guided kōrero that goes with it. We didn't have time to go through it today. There's also an assessment for you, a Mauri assessment, so that you can check in with yourself. Where is my Mauri sitting today? What part of my body do I need to focus on so I can start to shift things that are impacting my Mauri, that are impacting my well-being? So, koina, thank you, SSPA, Social Services Provider Aotearoa. I thank you for the incredible mahi that you do with our communities and our people across Aotearoa. Nui te mihi, kia koutou.
Hina koe te tuahine, rawe katoa ngā kōrero, ngā whakaro, ngā mātauranga ana, ko horahia mātātou he kai. So thank you so much, Sophronia, your expertise and knowledge and stories connecting well-being of ourselves to our taiao and the unique stories from our country that inform these methods and indeed the work that you do. Hei oranga mo te katoa for well-being for everyone across Aotearoa. So I'm sure our attendees with me will like to extend a very, very big thank you to you for sharing your time. I know I speak for everyone when I say we've just gotten started with you, and there's a whole lot more very, very useful tools and models that we're grateful for you sharing with us today. So on that note, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you again, and indeed everyone on this call today, thank you for your participation. The recording has been requested, will be available, and we'll look to our website or Clear, and we'll have that link available. So kei te tuahine ngā mihi nui ki a koe, ko te whakaaro nui kia pai wa tātou rā, I rungi tērā whakaaro, hei whakakapi. So on that note, everyone have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will close out with our karakia. Kia ora tātou. Tuia ngā kōrero, tuia ngā kōrero o te wānanga, tuia I runga, tuia I raro, tuia I roto, tuia I waho. E rongo whakairi ake ki runga, tūturu o whiti whakamaua kia tīna. Haumi e hui e tāi ki e. Kia ora tātou, thank you very much. Kia pai te rā.